What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Spawn for Spawn Sundays, except this time we're going to jump over to another spin-off series. Yes, we have been covering Curse of Spawn, and we have covered almost every single chapter of that spin-off, but now it's time for another, and that would be Sam and Twitch. Now remember, Sam and Twitch used to be two police officers of the NYPD. Now they were fired from the police department because they realized their boss was a crooked cop. And so when they tried to prove it, well, he fired them. Now, even though he did fire them, they were still able to prove that he was crooked. And so he killed himself, but they couldn't get their jobs back. And so instead, they became private investigators. Now, after that, they did that for a short period of time. And matter of fact, they even helped out Spawn with different kinds of situations. But after a few months of being private investigators, well, they were offered their old job back. And so now they're police officers. And their first day back on the job, they get one heck of a case. Now, this story was actually written by Brian Michael Bendis, the guy who wrote Ultimate Spider-Man, The New Avengers, and the list goes on. And so this is his first Spawn story ever. I do hope you enjoy. Now, the opening pages of this story, we do see Twitch at a bar talking to a random woman. Now, at first, it may seem like she's not that important, but she's going to be by the end of the second chapter. But when it comes to Twitch, it seems like he had a very hard day, a very rough day. And apparently, it's all because of his first case, being back on the police force. Now, when it comes to this woman, at first, it does look like she's very concerned for Twitch because how he looks at the moment. And he tells her, hey, you know what? Let me give you my life story, which is everything I just told you in the opening minutes of this video. And so once we pass through all of that, he says, what really broke me down today is what happened when it came to my first case being back on the police force. And so we do have to jump back in time where we do see Sam and Twitch arriving to the first crime scene being back on the police force. Now, when they do arrive, well, they walk into one heck of a scene. There are a bunch of men who were playing poker, but apparently somebody came into that game and murdered all of them. Now, here's the thing, because all these guys who are now dead, they could have belonged to a certain mob family. Except while you have our heroes trying to look around for any kind of clues, well, you have Twitch realize that someone cut off what could be 4 different people's thumbs and left those thumbs to be found very easily. Because Twitch says, hey, Sam, why in the world are there 4 thumbs over here just out in the open? This could be a message, but the question is, what is that message? And so we do pick up with Casey McWorry. Now, when it comes to McWorry, she's going to be the doctor who is going to do the autopsies on the dead bodies at the crime scene, but also examining the 4 thumbs that was found by Twitch. Now, here's the thing. All 4 thumbs belong to the same person. So our killer could have been the one who had cut off his own thumbs or killed off someone else and cut off that person's 4 thumbs and left it behind at the crime scene. And the 4 thumbs do not belong to any other person who was dead at that crime scene. But that's not even the crazy part, because every single thumb is on a different level when it comes to maturity in genetics, meaning that some thumbs had fully grown genetically, but other thumbs have not. And the question is, why? Why do each thumb have to be on a different level if all 4 thumbs came from the same person? Now, before they're able to continue on with the examination of these four thumbs, you have our heroes get word about another crime scene. And when they arrived at that crime scene, well, they find four ears. And of course, those four ears most likely belong to the same person. And also, those four ears are most likely on different levels when it comes to the maturity of their genetics. Either way, you have our heroes wondering what in the world is currently going on. Four thumbs, four ears, what else could possibly happen? Now, our heroes do get word that every single case file or every single rap sheet for all the different people who had died has been transferred over to their lieutenant. Of course, Lieutenant Barnes. And you have our heroes wondering why in the world is their boss trying to look at their files for this case. And so you have our heroes pay him a visit. And so once they do pay him a visit, you have their lieutenant, by the way, his name is Barnes, tell Sam and Twitch why he made sure that all the files were transferred over to him. And the reason why, because one of the dead bodies was a cop that was close to Barnes, Sam, and Twitch. And so this is Barnes, their boss, saying, listen, we have to make sure that this case does not get out to the media, that no details are brought out to the world until we get all our facts straight, because I want to make sure what in the world actually happened at that crime scene, because the other dead bodies belong to people who were part of a mob family. And so why in the world was a cop playing poker with members of a mob? And so for Sam and Twitch, this case is getting even weirder. And so did you have Sam and Twitch get word about another case or another crime scene. And when they arrived, well, we kind of find out there are four more dead bodies, but each body has lost their private area. And so now we have four ears, four thumbs, four private areas being cut off. What in the world is going on? Now things are about to get a whole lot crazier. And the reason why, because you had Sam and Twitch realize that they're being watched by some man wearing a mask and a trench coat and also wearing a hat as well. And so when Sam and Twitch try to go over there and talk to him, well, out of nowhere, a car pulls up, that mysterious guy gets in the car and the car drives off. But you had Twitch tell Sam, I saw who was the driver of that car. And this is where things get even crazier, y'all. Because the driver of the car who helped our mysterious character get away was their boss, Lieutenant Barnes. And so you have Sam and Twitch wondering what in the world is going on. And so after that, you do have our two heroes head back over to their boss's office to hopefully figure out why in the world did they see him become an escape driver or getaway driver for their mysterious character? But the problem is, as soon as they arrived at his office, well, his assistant tells Sam and Twitch, oh yeah, when it comes to Lieutenant Barnes, he just went on vacation. He just appeared, he in his office, he left, but then left me a voicemail to tell me that he's going on vacation. And that's really it. And I have no idea how long he's going to be gone. And so for our heroes, they're wondering, hey, ma'am, does that sound a tad bit, I don't know, strange to you? Like a red flag should have gone off in your head with the idea your boss just randomly coming in saying he'll be gone for a few days? But for her, she's all like, dude, I don't get paid enough to actually care. And so you did have our heroes be called up by Dr. McWorry. Now this is what she tells our heroes and us the readers, that she had examined all 12 body parts that our heroes have found. And here's the thing, all 12 body parts belong to the same person. But get this, every single body part is beginning to heal. All the dead cells that each body part has is beginning to go away. Now, when it comes to the ability of healing, we have no idea how far it could possibly go. But when it comes to our heroes, this seems very weird. Now, you do have McWorry say, listen, usually anything that has to deal with, human evolution, it has to go over to the feds. But she does tell our heroes, you have until 5 tomorrow before I have to call this in, which gives them more time to figure out what in the world is going on with this case. And so you have Sam and Twitch begin to look at every single piece of evidence and wondering, what if every single crime scene was a message being sent to the mob family where all the victims had belonged to? Because, for example, 4 thumbs left behind. Well, that could be a message of stealing. 4 ears, for eavesdropping. 4 private areas, for disloyalty. What if all of those different crime scenes was a message to be sent to the mob family that all the victims had belonged to? And so you have Sam say he needs to go talk to someone, while Twitch stays behind and look over every single file that belongs to every single victim they have so far for this case. Because every single victim, except maybe like 2 of them, has a long rap sheet to look through. And so Twitch is going to be busy for a while. And so Sam leaves. Now, Sam does tell Twitch, you need to call your wife. And this is a reminder that Twitch and his wife, they're kind of going through a few things, as we saw a few weeks ago in our earlier videos of Spawn Sunday. And so you have Sam pay a visit over to Affleck, another cop, who has a lot of hatred towards Sam and Twitch. And the reason why, because our 2 heroes, they were fired as police officers. And usually it's really hard to get your job back. But they got their job back so easily. And so when it comes to Affleck, he believes that Sam and Twitch are working for internal affairs. Now remember, internal affairs is kind of like a division in the police department that investigates the wrongdoings done by police. And so when it comes to Affleck, he believes that Sam and Twitch are undercover members of internal affairs, because their precinct had a lot of dirty cops be removed right before Sam and Twitch came back. And so it's Affleck saying, listen, I know there is a possibility there are more dirty cops in our precinct, but don't you dare try to rope me in with the rest of them. Now, we already know that Sam and Twitch, they don't work for internal affairs. But this guy, he believes that. But this is Sam saying, listen, man, I need your help with this case. Any kind of information you have that can help me, just go ahead and tell me. And so you have Affleck tell Sam, go to this one location here in the city, and you might get some answers there. Now, as soon as you have Twitch get picked up by Sam, you have Twitch tell Sam, this is what I learned while looking through all the different files of all the different victims. And we kind of find out that every single victim belongs to one particular family. And guys, I am going to mispronounce the name of this family, so please forgive me. Their names are the Sangiacomo family. Either way, every single victim belonged to that mob family, but every single victim was arrested and released by the captain. And remember, the captain is one of the people they found dead at the first crime scene. So things are getting even crazier. But on top of that, 2 of the victims were arrested by Sam and Twitch as well. Either way, you have Sam take Twitch to that corner that belongs to that mob family that he learned about through, of course, Affleck, the other cop earlier. Except when they do arrive at that corner, really it's a club. Except when they go inside the club, you have a lot of people trying to run out of the place. And the reason why? Because their mysterious man has appeared again. Except this time, he's holding the head of their lieutenant, Lieutenant Barnes. And you're wondering, why in the world did this man kill off the guy who just helped him escape at the end of the last chapter? We have no idea. And so you have Sam and Twitch try to chase after him. Now, after a few pages, the chase does lead over to a rooftop. And right when you have Sam being able to pull off the mask of the guy, Sam is very surprised in what he is seeing when it comes to the face of our mysterious character. But Twitch is able to shoot the guy and he falls off the rooftop back down to the lowest level. And he's dead. And it's kind of like, okay, what in the world is going on with this case? But we have to jump back over to the present day. Because let's not forget that Twitch was talking to a lady who he believed was somebody who was just worried about him because she realized that he was a sad person sitting at the bar. To only find out that in reality, she works for Internal Affairs, and she says what you just did was illegal. You are not allowed to tell anybody who's not working for the police department about police work. And even though I do work for the police department, you just told what you believed was a random woman at the bar everything that was going on with your case. That is illegal, and of course, you and I are going to have a long conversation. But I also need you to call up your friend Sam as well. And the reason why? Because you and him both are in some big trouble at the moment. So let's go back to my office. And so then we jump over to the third chapter. Now, while we do, we pick up with a couple, a random couple. And when it comes to this couple, they are going to a Kiss concert. Now, while there, out of nowhere, someone bumps into the man of the couple. And he begins to sneeze like crazy. And at first, it's kind of like, okay, he's just sneezing. What's the problem? But then out of nowhere, he begins to cough up blood. Or really, he begins to sneeze blood out of his mouth, left and right. And begins to choke and begins to die right in front of his lady. And so once he dies, she realized that her man was probably murdered by the mysterious guy who had bumped into him. But at the same time, she's freaking out because just a moment ago, he was okay. And just like that, he's dead. And so you have her call up the police department. And so then we pick up with Sam arriving at the office of Internal Affairs. Now, when Sam arrives, he is confronted by Barbara, who tells him why they're here for, why Sam is there for. And she says, I feel like you guys had killed off your boss, Lieutenant Barnes. And the reason why? Because a bullet that comes from your gun was found inside his head. Now, let's not forget, at the end of the last chapter, when it came to Sam and Twitch arriving at that club, our mysterious character was holding the head of their boss like it was nothing. And when our heroes were chasing him down, Sam did fire a bullet. And that bullet did go inside the head of their boss, Barnes. But they were not the ones who had killed him. It was our mysterious character. And so when it comes to Barbara, it's really her showing that she does not believe Sam at all. Now, here's the thing. She does give a little bit of information about her backstory. And so when it comes to her backstory, we do learn that she comes from a small town. In that small town, you have 50,000 people. Not really that small, but still somewhat small. Either way, she tells us that her city is constantly on fire. And the reason why? Because there was a fire at a junkyard many years ago. That fire was able to reach a coal mine that ran underneath her hometown. And so with that coal mine being hit with the flames of the fire that came from the junkyard, her city is constantly on fire. And so you have more and more people just disappear. Some moved away. Some were killed by the flames of the fire that comes from the coal mine. Now you would think the government would move in and try to put out the flames or do something about it. They have not. And so she has one thing to worry about: her parents, who still live there in that city, even though it is constantly on fire. Now, with that being said though, the reason why she shared that story is to tell Sam, I don't care about your personal problems. I don't care about Twitch personal problems. And that is when she pulls out a tape recorder. And on this tape recorder is the entire conversation she had with Twitch at the bar, when Twitch believed that she was just a random woman. And again, that was a problem. But either way though, in that recording, you have Twitch talking about the idea of everything going on with the case. But he also made fun of Sam. Now, Sam is very unique. His body is somewhat different than others. But the thing is, Sam really cares for Twitch like a brother. And so to hear your best friend that you look at as a brother talk really bad about you in his own personal way is very upsetting. Now for Twitch, he did make fun of Sam, but at the same time, he still cares for Sam. But on top of that, in that same recording, Twitch talks about the idea how Barnes made sure that Sam and Twitch did not tell anybody else in the police department about their case. Because remember, their boss said, we got to make sure that this stays quiet. I don't want anybody to find out what in the world is going on with this case at all. All your information comes back to me. And so because of that, but also because Twitch had told a random person, someone he believed to be a random person, it now got them sitting here in the Office of Internal Affairs. But on top of that, with the idea of Sam and Twitch talking to their boss, who told them to keep everything quiet, and now that boss is dead, it does really look bad on them at the moment. And so you have Sam go over to Affleck, the other cop we saw earlier, because remember, that was the cop who told Sam to go to that location to find out more information about their case. Except when they arrived, they found their mysterious character carrying the head of their boss, Barnes. And so for Sam, he believes that Affleck set him up. Now, when it comes to Affleck, he says, no, I did not set you up at all. I told you, I don't be part of any kind of dirty business that is going on in this precinct because I have a wife and a child to look after. Now, at the end of their conversation, we do see our mysterious character once again come behind Affleck and does something to him. Except by the time that happens, Sam is already gone, looking for Twitch to have a conversation. And so you have Sam explain why he is so upset with Twitch, because Twitch went out of his way to talk to someone he believed to be a random woman just to have somebody to actually talk to. And the problem was he told this person the entire case, but also made fun of Sam. Now, when it comes to Sam, Sam's wondering, why didn't you just go home and talk to your wife about this case, about me? Not to a random woman who's now got us into deep trouble with internal affairs. Like, why didn't you go to your wife? And you had Twitch tell Sam because his wife had kicked him out of the house 2 months ago. Because Sam and Twitch lost their jobs as police officers and became private investigators, they were not making any kind of money at all. I mean, barely any money at all. And when it comes to Twitch, he has a family to support. And so when it came to his wife, she gave him an ultimatum to choose her or to choose Sam, meaning that she wanted her husband to get a more stable job, to get a job to help support their family. But Twitch chose Sam because Sam is kind of like a brother to Twitch. They're really close. And he was hoping to keep both people in his life, his wife and his best friend. But he chose his best friend over his wife. Now, before the two men are able to talk, But before the two men are able to talk to one another, they are confronted by Dr. McWorry. Now, when it comes to Dr. McWorry, she does inform both our guys here that she had just received another dead body. And of course, she is talking about the guy that came from the Kiss concert. But she realized that he belongs to the same mob family that Sam and Twitch were looking into. And of course, that would be San Giacomo. And again, I really hope I pronounced that correctly. And so now the question is, who in the world is going after that mob family? And how does Barnes fit in the middle of all of this? Now, the thing was, she did an autopsy on Nicky's body, the guy from the Kiss concert, and she realized how he died. He died from a mutated version of the common cold, a more advanced version of the cold that was able to kill somebody off very quickly. Now, she does say that she believes the cold is most likely not contagious, except right when she says that, you have Affleck spitting up blood, the other officer that Sarah has been talking to here and there. And when it comes to Affleck, he's dying the same way that Nicky did at the Kiss concert. And so now you have our heroes wondering the possibility that this new cold could be contagious, an airborne virus. Now, we kind of know it's most likely not true because we saw our mysterious guy earlier in the police precinct behind Affleck. And so we have no idea what he did to him, but this death right here, Affleck's death, is being caused by our mysterious character that has just returned out of nowhere. Now, here's the thing, because before Affleck dies, he does tell Sam and Twitch one word. He says over and over again, Udaku. And we're left to wonder what that could possibly mean. Now, when we jump into the final chapter for today's video, we do pick up with Sam now having nightmares about the idea of being killed off by our mysterious character. The mysterious character is going to appear out of nowhere behind him and did pull out his heart. And so as soon as Sam reaches that point of his nightmare, he then wakes up and realize it was all a dream. When he does wake up this time, he is confronted by his partner Twitch, and we kind of find out that Sam has been drinking a lot at a bar and he fell asleep drunk at the bar, and Twitch was called there to help him out. Now, we have to realize that these two guys may no longer be friends. And the reason why, because Sam found out that Twitch has apparently made fun of him behind his back. And so to Sam, he wants to be left alone. And matter of fact, he tells Twitch, in the morning, do not come to pick me up. I have to take care of something. So I want you to do your own thing when it comes to figuring out what in the world is going on with this case. Now, we come to find out that Sam went to go pay a visit to the wife of Affleck, the officer who died at the very end of the last chapter. Now, this is Sam trying to see how she is doing, but at the same time, try to figure out if she ever heard the word Udaku, because that was the last word that her husband had told Sam over and over again when he was dying in the police department building. And when it comes to his wife, she says, no, I have no idea what you are talking about. But this leads into the idea of Sam just being there for her, because no other officer who has claimed over the years to be friends with Affleck has stopped by to actually see her to make sure that she is okay. Now, when it comes to Twitch, he's back at the police department doing some research on the internet for the word Udaku, but the problem is he is unable to find any kind of piece of information about that word. But either way, you have the two men coming together. Now, we also come to find out that when it comes to Barbara, well, she's going after everyone in that precinct, especially Dr. McWorry, who was just a doctor who did the autopsy on every single victim that has been involved in this case. But either way, you have Barbara tell her, oh, you are also in some big trouble as well. And so you have the two guys meet up. Now, when they do meet up, it leads into the moment where these two guys are actually making up, because Sam realized Twitch is a human. Humans always make a mistake. And when it comes to Twitch, even though what he did was wrong, Twitch is still a human. But Twitch has always been there for Sam over the years. And so you have the two guys being able to make up. Now, right after that, you did have Twitch tell Sam, oh, by the way, you should know that I was back in the office trying to find any kind of information on the internet about the word Udaku. But unfortunately, I couldn't find anything at all, except a bunch of images. Now, in those pictures, there were a bunch of words, but unfortunately, it was not in English. It was in an unknown language that I was unable to read or identify. And so you had Twitch think that it could possibly be Russian. Now, why you have the two guys decide to keep going on and try to figure out what in the world is going on with this case, you have Spawn appear for like 2 pages. He comes in and apparently he needs their help, but they tell him go away. And so he leaves. And it's kind of like, huh, that's random, and the story moves on. And so you have our two heroes stop by a pawn shop to meet up with the owner of the shop, a guy known as Izzy. Now, when it comes to Izzy, he's kind of like an informant for Sam, and he was hoping that Izzy may have some kind of piece of information about the word Udaku. Here's the thing. As soon as our two guys ask him, he begins to freak out. But then he sees who is behind Sam and Twitch outside the shop. It's our mysterious character once again. And as soon as Izzy sees him, he pulls out a gun and shoots himself in the mouth, killing himself. And then you have Sam and Twitch turn around and realize they are being watched by our mysterious character. And so they go after him. They try to capture him. And the chase leads into the sewers. Except they lost him in the sewers. And so then they also split up to hopefully find him. And so while you have our two guys looking around the sewers, well, behind Twitch is our mysterious character who's about to grab him. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.